Hey, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm going to be giving a brief history of the Sonic franchise up until Sonic Forces, so if you don't want to see that, then just skip to this timestamp over here. Sonic the Hedgehog was created in the early 90s as a competitor to Nintendo's gaming giant Mario, and was actually doing pretty well against him, making him become Sega's main mascot for the Sega Genesis and onwards, leading him to star in 3 of the most memorable Sonic games to date, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, which were all praised for having mostly quick and satisfying platforming, great music, some of which was written by Michael Jackson, and also served as an example of how to do sequels the right way, since each game increasingly got better in terms of graphics and gameplay. Except for that one though, but we're not going to talk about that, just pretend it doesn't exist like Sonic Mania does. But shortly after Sonic 3 came out, games are starting to make the jump to the third dimension. And Sony had finally entered the console wars with the PlayStation 1. So naturally, like everyone else, Sega decided to make their own console, which, for the record, was a commercial flop, the Sega Saturn. The main problem with it, though, was that Sega, instead of making a whole nother system to move forward with storage and visuals, they decided just, keep releasing add-ons for the same system, but almost back to back, leading them into their inevitable demise. That and the fact that it couldn't even manage to get a Sonic game on it. Which, remember, this is the same time period when Final Fantasy VII and Mario 64 had just released. After the failure that was the Sega Saturn, Sega had created their last console to go up against the 6th generation, which also had a new competitor to the console wars known as the Xbox One. Which, unlike the Saturn, actually had 2 decent, good Sonic games, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, which both, in my opinion, were probably the best adaptations of Sonic in 3D. I mean, even though some parts of the game were probably made to
torture our enemies and drive them slowly but surely into insanity.
Oh, he wants it. He wants it. He's into it.
and say that the good outweighs the bad. But unfortunately, Sonic wasn't enough to save the Dreamcast, thus making it cease production sometime in 2001, mainly due to its poor marketing, kinda like another console we've had in recent years. Now this is when most people, even though it's debatable, say the Sonic franchise just straight up went downhill in every possible way. And lo and behold, those games actually ended up being part of my childhood, so thanks, Sega. So yeah, Sega had decided that they would become a third-party company, meaning that they'd still make games, just not for their own consoles. The first game that they'd end up making in my first Sonic game ever was Sonic Heroes, which I guess the whole gimmick of it was, you know, sort of, but not really Sonic Adventure, but this time the controls are worse. Shit! And there's a team system where one player is fast, one punches, and one can fly. But despite the controls being off, I and many other people actually liked this game, and it actually sold well. But then Sega just kind of went mental for a bit and somehow thought that, hey guys, you see this children's video game character right here? Yeah, well, you know how kids are these days, right? With their Black Ops and their San Andreas. Yeah, well, you know, I was thinking, let's just give Shadow the Hedgehog a fully loaded assault rifle. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. And let's also have a plot where, you know, the main mascot of our company that's represented us for years? Yeah, let's just shoot him in the opening. Oh yeah, and of course, how could I forget, we have to have the edgy and depressing rock music about how Shadow wants to kill himself. Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised that was Juan's first Sonic game. But yeah, surprise, surprise, this game was not that good, but oddly enough actually managed to sell well. And if you thought that game was bad, oh boy, well, well, you're in for a treat. After that, Sega had released one of the worst Sonic games of all time, permanently and emotionally scarring the franchise, Sonic 06. Not only was this game completely broken, but it also had a plot line where, no joke, Sonic makes out with like an 18-year-old girl, which I don't really think that's legal. After that game came out, to add insult to injury, Sega released a bunch of gimmicky bad Wii games for a bit until they finally made something good, but only partially. Sonic Unleashed, which was the first Sonic game to use the boost formula. Just get some rings and press F to go fast. Well, you're probably thinking, hey Corey, that's not really that bad of an idea. And you're right, it isn't. But someone at Sega decided that, guys, I think the daytime stages are too short, so what do you think we should do to pad the game out? Well, I think we could, like, make some more of them, or just have the game short but ultimately good in the end. Well, I think that we should just add a werewolf into the game, but make it Sonic and also 10 times slower, both mentally and physically. Yeah, not a good move, Sega. But the best to come out of Sonic Unleashed was the next game, Sonic Colors, where they made the boost formula slightly better and completely ditched the nighttime stages, thank God. At this point, the Sonic franchise was slowly but surely bringing Sonic's dead, rotting corpse back to life, and it only got better. Next, boom, we got Sonic Generations, where they brought back classic Sonic gameplay and improved the boost gameplay, and remade classic stages from Sonic Heroes all the way to, that game. And to top it off, they also remade some of the music and overall made one of the best modern Sonic games in recent years. So right now, most people were thinking, Sega's actually cleaned up their act for once. Maybe now's the time where the Sonic franchise can just live life and prosper with tons and tons of good games and a long future ahead of it. Nah, just kidding. Here's Sonic 4. And also Sonic Lost World. Now, I'll be honest, Sonic 4 and Sonic Lost World aren't the worst games ever. It's just that both of them, in my opinion, were trying way too hard to be something they couldn't be. Sonic 4 was desperately trying to be like the classics, but ultimately failed due to how off the physics are. I mean, hell, in the Sonic Mania trailer, Sega didn't even want anyone to remember that that game existed, which I'm not really gonna blame them for. And Sonic Lost World was trying way too hard to be like a Mario game. Not even joking, the level design is almost identical. And although the concept of parkour wasn't that bad of an idea, especially in the beginning stages where it actually worked, I still can't wrap my head around why they gave Sonic, yes, this Sonic, a run button. But trust me, I'd much rather play Sonic Lost World or Sonic 4 over the next game that came out after this. I didn't even know the Sonic franchise could possibly go this low again, but somehow Sega actually managed to publish a game that was worse than Sonic 06, Sonic Boom. Now granted, this game wasn't actually made by Sega, it was made by a company called Big Red Button, which were former Naughty Dog employees. Which I guess now we know why they were former employees, huh? But this game was bad in every way possible. The graphics looked like a PlayStation 2 game, which don't give me the whole, oh yeah, Corey, well, it was on the Wii U. Well, the Wii U was also able to pull off Bayonetta 2 and Star Fox Zero, so they didn't really have any excuses. I mean, sure, I guess you could say that their show on Cartoon Network is actually decent, but I guess mainly because it's self-aware that out of all things, it's Sonic Boom.
Look what I found at the flea market! Dude, is that Tomatopotamus too?
That's the best one in the entire series! Tomatopotamus never worked in 3D.
But yeah, overall, it was terrible, and at this point, people thought Sega was pretty much dead, because reports were coming out saying that Sega was supposedly laying people off, and were focusing more on the PC and mobile market. For a while, the franchise and Sega themselves were pretty quiet, but then out of nowhere, last year in 2016, Sega dropped 2 bombshells of trailers for Sonic's 25th anniversary. Sonic Mania, which most of you, I'm assuming, have probably played or heard of before this video was released, which for right now I'm pretty sure almost everyone can agree at this point. Even though as I'm reading this script, the game just got released today, and so far it has good ratings, some of which oddly enough are even from IGN.
Sonic was never good.
But yeah, if you somehow haven't seen it or don't know about it, it's basically the true version of Sonic 4, having great music, which I'll just give you a quick listen to right here. new and returning gameplay elements, and was actually made by fans. And surprise, surprise, it was one of the highest rating Sonic games in 15 years. But besides Sonic Mania, we also got another trailer for another game simply titled Project Sonic. And that's where we get into the main topic of this video, why I think Sonic Forces is confused at what it wants to be. So right off the bat, let's start with its first trailer. Now at first glance, I'm sure many of you were thinking the same thing as me. Okay, clearly this is just Sonic Generations, but now with 2% more edginess, which, oh boy, I can't wait until we get to that part. Like, I guess they were going for a sort of darker tone in this game, but yeah, you got modern Sonic running around in a world that from the looks of it was actually taken over by Eggman, and also classic Sonic's here for some reason, which I'll come back to in a bit. And then we got something that completely came out of left field that nobody was expecting. Even though Sonic Team kept saying Sonic Forces isn't gonna be Generations 2, and we were all like, yeah, sure, no, okay, Sega. How do I put this? The game's now an OC simulator. If you don't know what an OC is, boy, you're in luck. But it stands for original character, which sometimes they can be good and creative, and sometimes they can be copied and pasted from the deepest, darkest pits of hell, which is funnily enough where most Sonic OCs tend to come from. Not even joking, there are so many Sonic OCs now that if you search your name in Google and put the Hedgehog after it, you'll almost 100% find somebody's DeviantArt OC of it. What the fuck? But yeah, I don't know who gave Sega the idea to do this. I guess you could call it tapping into your fan base. But yeah, now in Sonic Forces, and I'm not even joking by the way, you can make your own weird OC character and use it in the game. Not only do you have your own character, you also have your own antagonist, which for some reason Sega made the decision that, oh yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog? He's not edgy enough. Let's make a character who... Guys, we have a code red. We have a code red. He's faster than Sonic. No. That's impossible. Because he's Sonic the Hedgehog, you know? Like, the fastest thing alive. You can't be faster than Sonic. Oh my god, guys, I almost forgot about his theme song. No, guys. No. His theme song is... It's edgier than Shadow. No joke, guys. It sounds like he's about to shoot up a high school. Yeah. Hey.
It's your boy, the fucking Minecraft, awesome Minecraft parodies.
Kid, get off the stage. You suck.
No.
Or in the middle, it kind of sounds like a high schooler having Vietnam flashbacks about a Roblox video he made approximately a year ago.
When every day you know has come and collections, dying, rising high, only scars remain of the world. Finally access to this.
But jokes aside, seriously, the whole I'm you but better thing has honestly been so overdone at this point. Hell, Sega, you literally already did this twice. You did this twice, Sega. Like, did you guys forget Sonic CD existed with Metal Sonic? Did you forget Metal Sonic existed and also Shadow? Like, stop. What are you doing? That's kind of stupid. Now look, I know that. Well, Mr. LilCVG. Who cares about the story in a Sonic game? Oh yeah, that's right. No one. And I'll admit, you're right. I probably shouldn't care about the story in a Sonic game in 2017. But like, come on, I swear, even though the game hasn't came out yet, this story is so predictable and cliched. Like, watch. I'm gonna predict this entire story right now. And then when the game comes out, I'll say, ha! I told you so, or just look like a complete idiot, but whatever. Okay, so here's how I see the plot going. Eggman teams up with Infinite, who somehow gets Shadow, Chaos, and that one guy who nobody cares about because Sonic Lost World sucked, and takes over the world, or something. And then Sonic's like, oh yeah, I'll stop you. Oh, wait. No, I can't. And then instead of getting help from all of Sonic's other friends like Tails or Knuckles, nope, let's get this random guy over here to do it, who has special powers for some reason and can stop Infinite. and then you kill him and the game ends. Or, like I said, I could be completely wrong, but whatever, let's ignore that for right now. So yeah, after the custom hero trailer, we also got some more gameplay stages, furthermore implementing the idea that this is still pretty much just Sonic Generations, but without the nostalgia factor into it, and the custom hero stages, which is where I think the two main problems with this game lie. First, let's talk about the custom hero stages. Now let me say this as a warning. As of right now, there's only a couple stages that I've seen, obviously since this game hasn't come out yet. But from what I've seen of them, I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't look too special. Now don't get me wrong, am I saying these stages are bad? No, but they certainly don't look that fun or unique in any way. For one, like I said, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like out of the two stages we saw of them, a lot of them have parts where you need to stop and wait for this thing to finish, or stop and kill all these enemies. And no, I'm not trying to say you have to go fast every second of the stage like there's a C4 strapped to your chest. I'm just saying I think it'll get annoying. Overall, these stages at first glance just look like a lesser version of modern Sonic stages where they take away the boost, which is objectively the best part of modern Sonic right now, since they're not designed like the adventure games and give you, I guess, what's called a wispin, some type of wisp weapon thing to replace it, which I don't know, I think the boost one's a little bit better. Another problem I have with the custom hero stages is if Sonic Team was seriously looking for another gameplay style, why didn't they use the adventure style? Sega, did you also forget that existed? Now this is sort of a personal thing with me, but I feel like the Sonic adventure style is sort of like the Mario 64 of modern Sonic, where that's how most of his 3D games should control. Although I do like the boost formula, it inevitably feels like it's much more on rails and has less longevity than the adventure series, because personally, even though I will play Sonic Forces, I think the boost formula is just starting to become a bit stale. I mean, yeah, like I said, Sega's probably using the whole magical wispin weapon thing as a plot device, but still. Honestly, I think the Sonic series should just go back to adventure and build up from there. Another huge problem with Sonic Forces that sticks out like a sore thumb is the inclusion of classic Sonic. Like, seriously, what is the point of him even being in this game? What is your purpose here, classic Sonic? Are you here for nostalgic reasons? Because that's obviously not gonna work since we have Sonic Mania and the game actually feels like the people behind it cared about classic Sonic. Like, his inclusion in Forces feels like it doesn't really mean anything. Like, I feel like Sega's not getting the reason why people cared about it in Sonic Generations. The only reason people cared about him being in Sonic Generations was because classic Sonic at that point hadn't had a game in years. But with Sonic Forces, classic Sonic fans just got Sonic Mania, so they're obviously not going to buy Forces just to play as classic Sonic. Although the stages do look fun, honestly, compared to Sonic Mania, no. I swear, it feels like Sonic Team just pulled the Sonic Unleashed and we're like, the game's too short, what do we do? Oh yeah, just you guys can just throw classic Sonic in there, and I don't care. And another problem, which I didn't notice recently until I took a quick look at this video right here, which also talks about a few similar points as mine about what's wrong with Sonic Forces, go watch it if you want to, was that I don't think Sonic Team doesn't really trust the boost formula or any of their 3D formulas in the first place, which is a massive problem to the Sonic franchise. Like, looking back at Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, most people would say, besides the Chao Garden, obviously, the Sonic, Tails, and Shadow stages were the most fun. So why haven't we still ever gotten a game with just the Sonic stages? And the same thing goes for the boost formula. I mean, yeah, we did have Sonic Colors, but if you go back to replaying it, yeah, it's fun, but there are a ton, I mean a ton of stages that are just 2D segments. It feels like Sonic Team, whenever they don't have enough faith in their actual gameplay styles, besides with their classics, they always ham-fist in another gameplay style that people don't want or care about. Like, oh, here's a talking sword, now you can spaz it out with your Wii remote. Oh, you were having too much fun with that? Hey, now you're a werewolf for some reason. In fact, I think this is the biggest problem with modern Sonic as a whole, that it has two well put together defined identities, yet Sega never wants to just let them stand on their own. In my opinion, I think that if Sega wants people to start trusting that modern Sonic games can be good again, is just to make a game with either A, going back to the adventure formula, You know, obviously the better one. Or B, you could just make more Boost Formula games like Colors, but with less 2D segments. Although, like I said, I don't think they're gonna last forever like I do with Adventure Style. It will overall give Modern Sonic his own identity again, or at least define it more. But yeah. Overall, those are my main gripes with Sonic Forces. The story looks super cliched, classic Sonic doesn't need to be here, and modern Sonic should just have a game with him again instead of trying to forcefully cram in other gameplay styles that no one cares about. I guess you could say, you know, it overall makes Sonic Forces confused, eh? You see what I did there with the title? Also, I'm sorry if you guys didn't like the beginning part where I explained the history of the Sonic franchise. I felt like since this obviously isn't a Sonic themed channel, and I've never talked about Sonic on this channel, I kinda had to do that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Or if you guys have differing opinions on what's wrong with Sonic Forces, please let me know in the comments, and yeah, okay, bye.